Hi, my name is Ken Schwartz of Precise Sharpening, and in this video what I'm going to do is to be introducing one of the stones mentioned in a previous video, which is the Nubatama Ume or plum series of stones, and this is the 1000 grit stone. This particular 1000 grit stone is marked off in kanji. There's a larger black Ume 1000 as well, and today what I'm going to do is specifically be looking at the hard formulation as opposed to the extra hard formulation or the standard formulation. So let's go through our standard routine, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working on this Mukimono. It's a Watanabe white steel knife, and I'm also going to be doing this chisel and doing the front surface of the chisel. So let's look at the stone first and get a little bit better idea of how it works and porosity and so on and so forth. So here we go. I'll give it a little. Okay. Seems fairly similar to the standard 1000 as opposed to the, again, this is the hard formulation. So wet this down just a bit. Now it's important to note, if you're comparing this stone to other stones, that the amount of soak time that a stone gets, any number of other variables, the pressure, the steel, and so on and so forth, will affect the characteristics of what you see. So that's why I give a fairly good description of the knife that I'm using. Now, in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to do just this leading edge over here. It is a sharp edge, and we will make it a little sharper. So let's see how we're doing here. All right, and again, you know, some people will soak the stone for a number of minutes. I'm doing this as sort of fresh out of the box videos, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so we'll align this front edge like that, and carefully, and we see it's immediately cutting metal. And I'm pressing pretty firmly. And indeed, let me shut this water off so you can hear it more clearly. Okay, so already this does take metal off. Very, very fine, particularly hard stone. I'm actually surprised that the hard is as hard as it is. So I'd imagine the extra hard will be even more interesting. We're getting pretty much of just a pure swarf with very little stone in the mix. And again, do take into account that I have not soaked this stone for any extended period of time, so that changes the amount of mud and the formulation of the mud. These are things that you can adjust to your own taste. I'm getting good feedback. Even though it is a harder formulation, I am still getting feedback. Now, sometimes, you know, while I'm mentioning that this is a harder stone and that it's less typically used for knife users, there's also a matter of taste involved here. Some people do prefer harder stones. I, for one, tend to prefer some harder stones that are more like, let's say, Shaptons. So Shapton users might find this a particularly interesting formulation. EdgePro users as well, and we expect to have these stones available for the EdgePro. So yeah, I'm getting, and I haven't washed it off or anything, I'm getting very, very little stone mixed in with this formulation. And if you compare it to my video of the regular stone, you'll see that indeed this is a harder stone. So again, this is the sort of finish we're getting on it. What I'll do next is this Japanese chisel, and again I'm going to keep the same mud just to see how much mud buildup I get, and we're going to work the front of this chisel. So even though this is a smaller area than what you do with a knife, so it presents the stone with more uneven grinding because it's only grinding under the one area, we're getting very consistent effect. Very nice, very consistent stone. It's a pleasure to use this stone. And yes, the mud is decidedly thinner, consistent, still good feedback, just so you get a good idea of what the mud looks like on this stone. Thank you for your time, and I'll be going on to the extra hard stone next and doing the back of this chisel.